I think what I'd like people to get their heads around is that if you are a hospital porter, then you are an essential member of a life-saving team and you are doing one of the most important jobs in the entire world. That is an indisputable logical fact. If you are one of these people who doesn't like me saying things like that and doesn't like what I do with this St Theo's Day thing, then you have to concede that your position is one that is essentially illogical, and you are promoting a value which is upheld by the absence of logic, without rational thought. You have to say that you have to concede that your view is that because most people think that, because it's conventional, then that supersedes logic. In other words, conformism trumps reality. You have to admit that. You cannot escape that. And I just wish you'd be honest enough to admit it. Then I'd have some respect for you. I really would. And what you'll find is that these kinds of people are the same people who like hospital porters, pride and dignity, stop the New World Order. Well, it is June the 1st, and that means only one thing. It means it is St Theo's Day. Now, some people say, what do you keep talking about St Theo's Day for, Ben? What does it mean? Well, St Theobald of Ruggiero is actually the patron saint of hospital porters. I mean, this is an interesting thing that not a lot of people know, that there are many patron saints. I think there are hundreds of them for various different people, and there are some for dentists, there are some for plumbers, there are some. It seems almost every profession has a patron saint. Now, I looked into it. I started looking into it. There used to be a website which told you what all the patron saints were, and it turned out that there was one called St Theobald of Ruggiero. Now, he was a guy who was born in 1170 in Piedmont, Italy, and he became famous, and he was eventually canonised because he used to carry sick people into the village, into the hospitals in the towns from remote villages in Italy. So in those days they didn't have doctors' surgeries and GPs and ambulances and things like that. So he became canonised as a saint, and he became the patron saint of hospital porters. Now he's not only the patron saint of hospital porters, I think he's the patron saint of many other people as well, many other professions. So I don't think we hospital porters, even if you're an ex-hospital porter like me, can keep St Theo for ourselves. However, I think that's not a reason not to celebrate his feast day. And his feast day is June the 1st. And again, because there are so many saints, June the 1st is also the feast day for many other saints as well. Now, so there's about 14 different saints actually who have their feast day on June the 1st. So perhaps there's a Saint Ralph the Liar or someone is also getting celebrated today, I don't know. But anyway, I have decided since I first learned about this that I would celebrate St Theobald of Ruggiero, the feast day of St Theobald of Ruggiero. In doing so, I have found a few people on my side within hospital portering. A few people were on my side, others were not. It's incredible actually how antagonistic people can become when you try to convince them that they're not as worthless as they want to be. Because I mean, some people have a passionate belief in their own worthlessness to the point of almost hatred against anyone who denies it. So I basically I made a few enemies doing this as well. But not to worry, you cannot sit on the fence your whole life. A friend to all is a friend to none, etc, etc, etc. So be it. Some people, you don't like it, too bad. So what I'm going to do, one thing I've not done before, I mean, I have made videos about St Theo's before. I even covered the St Theo's Day party at my hospital in 2011, which got me into trouble. That was one of the things they sacked me for. But I'm going to cover the St Theo's Day process this year so you can see it. And it's going to be a very special St Theo's Day indeed this year. Thanks to, once again, Sophie the Porter's Poet. And I'll explain later exactly what I mean. So if you care to accompany me, come and celebrate St Theo's Day with me. Now these here are my St Theo's Day flyers. Now this here is the one for the local places in Oxford, and it's basically advertising the St Theo's Day party, which is on June the 7th this year, at the Britannia in London Road, Headington. So if any of you want to come along to that, if anyone watching this wants to come along and join me, you'll be very grateful. It's the 7th, it's 7 PM till late, and association with HPANWO and HPWA. What I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute this around the hospitals of Oxford. So that's the one I'm going to use for that. Now, this one here is the national flyer. Again, I get a brief biography there of St Theo Ruggiero. That's the porter symbol I designed, which has not been accepted universally, but I thought we should have some kind of logo that represents us. And this is basically just encouraging the hospital porters of the nation to celebrate St Theo's Day. So what I'll be doing with this, I'll be sending these. I've got 12 of them. I've got 12 of each. I'll be sending these to various hospitals around the country. So I will do that. And well, basically, that's the next thing we have to do. Well, hospital porters' pride and dignity. Stop the New World Order. Welcome to HPANWO TV, and I am here at this old ivory cathedral behind me, the John Ratcliffe Hospital. I'm actually here to drop off some St Theo's Day flyers, and I'm going to go in there. I'm going to do that. I'll tell you more when I come out. So let's go in there and have a look. Well, I've just dropped off some flyers in the hospital. These are these internal flyers. Remember me showing you I'm now leaving the hospital. What you see behind you is the what used to be called JR1. It was the original John Ratcliffe. It was the women. It's now called the Women's Centre. Very politically correct, that. And it includes all maternity and gynecological services. And I myself was a delivery suite porter in the depths of that building for 9 years before I left then and went into other services. And yeah, that's been done up a lot less. Now the funny thing is, like, I went in there into the hospital and I couldn't believe how much it's changed. It's just it's not, how long's it been since I last went in there? A year. I think the last time I went into that place was to deliver my last St Theo's flyers, which was in 2015, June 2015. And I just cannot believe how much it's changed. They've got an entire new reception area. I know one of the receptionists, she recognised me. And I said, "What have you done to this place?" And but it was incredible. I mean, they've got like a Marks and Spencer's and a W.H. Smith. It's like the entrance to a hotel or an airport. Big glass wall things. Oh, it's a whole bunch of new, very glossy, very good look, very sort of impressive shock and awe for the patients and the visitors. You know, real corporate imagery, no doubt about it. And the porters' uniforms are still the same. I saw a couple of porters. I wanted to give them a salute and say, "Hail, brother porter," or something, but I didn't want to draw attention to myself, not just from I mean, obviously I'm not supposed to be in there, and security would have come and kicked me out. You know, they especially this St Theo's thing, they don't like. But also it's for the sake of them, and for the sake of my contact. See, the thing is, I have a certain friend in the hospital portering service who is actually being extremely helpful. A lot of what you see you're going to see in this film, and also what I write about on the HPWA blog. If you've not seen that, go to that. That's Hospital Porters Welfare Association. It's hpanwo-hpwa.blogspot.com. Oh, they've shut that door. Let's go around this way. hpwa.com. A lot of it comes from, it's thanks to him, it's very much down to him. I'm not going to name him, obviously, but I want to say thank you to him. I mean, you know who you are if you're watching, but he's my contact on the inside. And what I've done is I've dropped off some of the St Theo's flyers for him, which he's going to distribute among the staff. I'm not really able to do that anymore because porters in hospitals are not as visible as they used to be. In the old days, like, there was a porter's lodge at the front entrance, directly adjoined to the reception desk, and the porters used to handle the reception duties. Now they always have smartly dressed, attractive ladies, like this person I spoke to, Not no disrespect to her, she's good at what she does, but it's obviously, again, it is a corporate image they want to maintain, and professional suited working class guys are not part of the modern NHS corporate image. So they've shut us away. I mean, the Porter's Lodge today is on level 3. It's a single Porter's Lodge on level 3. For years they tried to convince us we didn't need a Porter's Lodge, and so we're told things like, it's horrible. I mean, they say things like, well, you don't need a locker, just don't bring your belongings to work with you. And they said, right, well, we need to change our clothes because we're not allowed to wear our uniform outside the hospital. And I said, oh, well, you get changed in the toilets, can't you? You can get changed in the toilets, can't you? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's unhygienic, obviously, for people to change their clothes in toilet cubicles, but it's bloody undignified. And it's the fact they actually said that is an incredible insult. But now we do have a Porter's Lodge. They were forced to give us a little cubicle. But hey diddly dee, it's a porter's life for me. Yeah, part of the daily experience of portering life. So I've dropped off those internal flyers. There's 6 of them, which my contact on the inside is going to distribute among the staff, and so we'll hopefully get a lot of them at the party on the 7th of June. Again, I'm sorry we can't have St Theo's Day party on St Theo's Day because I'm going to be in Nottingham. No, actually, I will be in Nottingham. I'll be firstly, I'm going to go to the RepCon. I'm hosting, as you know, I'm the Master of Ceremonies of RepCon, if you're following what I've been talking about on these videos. But also, I'm going to go and see a stain after that, spend a few days with a stain. So I don't get to see her that often, so I won't be in Oxford for St Theo's Day. But this video will be available on St Theo's Day. I'm filming it in advance. I'll upload it probably from her place, or I'll put it on a timed upload, or I'll privatise it and unprivatise it when I get on the actual day, on St Theo's Day. So my next stop is the Manor Hospital. Now, the Manor Hospital is actually a private hospital. It's called the Manor Hospital. It used to be built on the Manor football ground, which was Oxford United's home ground, home stadium, before they moved to the Kassam Stadium, the big horseshoe-shaped stadium at Littlemore and Mintry Farm area. So it's over here. You see what if you came here 20 years ago, that building there is actually part of the original football ground. You'd have seen the big lights, the big floodlights towering over this building here, and behind that there'd be the stands and the pitch, and on a match day you'd hear the cheering crowds. And that corrugated iron thing there is a part of the old Manor ground, but it's also part of the Manor Hospital. And I've come a long way round. I realised I could have actually taken a shortcut, which I didn't take, but never mind. Never mind. We'll go in there now. It's a private, like I said, when they knocked down the football ground and they moved Oxford United to the Kassam Stadium, they decided to they sold the land to the Nuffield Trust, which is a private healthcare company. And there we are. See, Nuffield Health. This Nuffield Health Trust is called Nuffield Health now. This is the deliveries entrance, and there's the hospital there. But we're going to go round to the public entrance. I will not be filming, obviously, on the site, because I didn't film on the John Radcliffe site, because I still respect the confidentiality of patients and things like that. So, but basically, they built this hospital. I think it's a 150-bed private hospital, which carries basically a surgical unit. Basically, it carries out various non-emergency operations. It doesn't have an accident emergency centre or anything like that. It carries out non-emergency operations. But it's there are porters there, obviously, although they've probably got some other name now, clinical logistics direct care operatives or something stupid like that. I've never told you about the ODO thing. I'm not trying to tell you about the ODO thing now. I'll do a separate video or article about that, but it's ridiculous when they give people stupid, politically correct Orwellian names. So they built this hospital there, and funny enough, they poached a lot of the staff from the John Radcliffe, and there was a lot of aggressive recruitment, and there was a bit of a fuss actually. A lot of the mostly it wasn't the porters mostly, it was mostly the senior nursing grades actually moved from the John Radcliffe over to the Nuffield Health and to the Manor Hospital because Nuffield Health are paying them so much more money. That's the thing about the NHS. I mean, because pay is so low, and it's low everywhere. I mean, compared to the kind of work for the work you do, it's low for almost everybody. I mean, a senior sister, obviously at the John Radcliffe in the NHS, senior sister earns far more than a porter would, probably about 5 times as much as a porter would. But then that's still not enough for the kind of work she does. I mean, I'm not a socialist. I don't believe in equality of pay and all that sort of thing. But I don't believe I, as a porter, would be entitled to earn what a senior sister would. And that, you know, that when it comes to the stress, the difficulty of the job, the amount of training and dedication it takes to get there. But the thing about it is, it's still not enough. It's still low compared to what some of these private healthcare companies are prepared to pay. And as I've said before, I think the NHS appears to be doomed. And I'm not naturally a pessimist, but on this subject I am. It's just too late now. I mean, the NHS still exists. I don't think it's ever going to stop being called the National Health Service, but it'll be privatised. There'll be an insurance service, just like they got in America with the Medicare scheme. It'll exist as a brand name, and that alone. So it could have been done. I mean, the junior doctors' strike. I mean, I really 100% supported. I think they were absolutely right to go on strike. I'll be saying more about the porter strike in a minute, but it's something that should have been done 25 years ago. It's too little too late. Yeah. So you've got to laugh, haven't you? Right, that's the Manor Hospital done. I just dropped off a single flyer there. For some reason I printed out an extra flyer. I don't know, I was supposed to print out 13 of each. Sorry, I was supposed to print out 12 of each. I printed out 13, so that's an extra flyer for everybody, which is cool. I have, which means I can drop off an extra one at the Churchill probably. Anyway, I'm now off to the Nuffield Orthopaedic Centre, which is the next hospital. The good thing about Oxford is all the major hospitals are within a few walking distance of each other virtually, and that's walking distance not just for a hospital porter but for a civilian as well. So it's actually quite easy to get to these various places, and then I've got to go back to work afterwards. But yeah, I mean, I consider the porters at this hospital are just as much my brother and sister porters as porters in the NHS. I mean, they're not the enemy. The enemy working for private companies and things those stupid trade unionists would say. I was a trade unionist for a very short period of time when I first started out. Didn't last long because I soon realised that they're a bunch of morons and idiots and narrow-minded fools who probably designed to mess with our heads and just destroy things. That's all they want to do. That being said, however, see, the funny thing is, I still would recommend people drawing unison if you're in an NHS, despite what I just said, because of there's a possibility they can do some good. I know that's a dilemma on my part, but I do say that to you. If you're in the NHS, please do get trade union representation. The thing is, though, the thing about it is, hardly anyone bothers nowadays because it's all been casualised. I mean, people aren't in the service long enough to actually even think about things like paying a couple of quid a week to secure their long-term professional future, because they're just thinking about the next job, about moving on. We used to get them in portering. Portering was casualised early on. We used to get these people in, we called them 6-month wonders. They used to come in, do a bit of work, then leave. Come in, do a bit of work, then leave. And I was the guy. See, I was one of the trainers because I was one of the few with any experience. And they, it was depressing because you'd be training up guys you knew would be gone in no time. It was like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in it. And that's one of the things I noticed changed during the time I was there. Because when I joined up, which would have been late 80s, I was trained up by guys who'd all been there 18 years, 20 years. They'd been there since the hospital opened. There were guys who'd worked before the John Radcliffe was opened, who'd been down at the Cowley Park Hospital, who'd been at the old Churchill, things like that. Lifers. And it's not just portraits everywhere. I mean, the nurses like now. I look at nurses and they're younger than Louisa. That's my daughter. I mean, you get sisters, ward sisters like, who are in their early 20s. And they're not going to hang around, like I said, and the reason is because, like I say, there's no money in it. It's enormously stressful. It's enormously traumatic. You know that if you keep doing it, you're going to be earning next to nothing for your whole career, for what, especially compared to the kind of work you do, which involves shift work and it involves wading through blood and shit, as Patch Adams said. Picking body parts off the floor, you know, having people throwing up all over you, throwing piss at you. For what? For less than what a traffic warden earns. Now you see, there's no point, because you will not encourage. That's not how you encourage staff to stay. So the nurses, they become nurses. They do a few years on the wards after training, paying off their student loan, and then they move on to something else. They're lucky they get jobs in one of the private hospitals which pay a bit more, but inevitably they're not going to stay in nursing. And the sisters' retirement party has become a thing of the past. Sisters don't retire anymore because they just leave when they want to get into something else before their 30th birthday, basically. So I'm now in Headington, just walking up this way. It's happening everywhere. I mean, it's been done deliberately. I mean, it's a policy. I mean, you saw it in Portrait. I mean, as soon as we were contracted out to Mediclean in the early days. This was a couple of years after I started, after the sort of golden age when I first got started in Portrait. They brought in students, they brought in stopgap workers, they started bringing in a few agency staff, YTS trainees, things like that. Ironically, one of those YTS trainees is still in it now. He's now a theatre porter at West Wing, and he's a good friend of mine actually. He's the guy I probably have a lot of contact with him. So. But most of them just they leave, they go on, you know, they leave, they work a bit, they're just doing the job, just putting in the hours, mate, getting some money, and then I'll move on to something else. It's really, really sad. And of course, you know, often happens, you know, it's like if you're out on the town with these guys, it's happened to me, they'll come up to you and say, look, Ben, don't tell anyone we're porters, all right? I don't want anyone to know we're porters. And I said, oh, just tell them we work at a hospital, don't tell them we're porters. And I'm like, sake. There are pimps and drug dealers who are not ashamed to answer honestly when asked a question, you know, what do you do for a living? The porters are. Very, very sad. This is what I hope to do something to redress with my St Theo celebrations. That is my objective, I think, of these St Theo's Day celebrations. So let's cross over here. Now you hear a lot of talk about the doctor's strike, but the porters actually went on strike. Well, there was going to be a porter strike. This is very, very interesting.
this got into the papers. I covered it on HPWA myself, but there was actually, this is thanks to my inside contact for keeping me updated on this, because he told me a lot of things I wouldn't have heard through the normal news sources. There's you see, it's a very complicated situation, because the porters are NHS employees technically, whatever that means nowadays, which doesn't mean the same thing it used to. But they are seconded to a company called Churchill PLC, which is like a public service contractor. They're essentially like a building firm plus management services firm, and they work on things like military bases, prisons, and of course the NHS hospitals. And so Churchill were actually running, they built the part of the hospital, which they got the NHS to buy back at a ridiculously 38% APR over a 30-year loan, which means this £800 million hospital is going to cost about 10 times as much when they finish paying off the loan. And then so that's the situation. We were seconded, even though we weren't employed by them, we were seconded to them. This is a really complicated situation. And there was those who were 3 times removed who were agency. And of course, Churchill did exactly what we predicted they would do, exactly what we knew they would do and what we warned they would do. They completely and utterly trashed the entire service. And I mean, totally. And one of the things they decided to do in their benevolence was, well, they spent so much time, like I said, they neglected everything they were meant to pay attention to. They spent all their time fiddling with things that didn't need fiddling with, and repairing things that weren't broken, and fixing things that didn't need fixing, probably just to justify their existence. Typical bureaucracy, you know. They have to, because they have no purpose, they have to create a function, they have to create the illusion of function, like all bureaucracies. And one of the things they decided to do in their benevolence was to change the shift system with the porters. Now, I was, I'm another reason that I don't really regret being out of it. The porters work on different systems. There's different shift systems. There's some porters work like Monday to Friday 9 to 5. There's some that like work that, and they rotate, they alternate between that and a late shift, which starts in the early afternoon, finishes at night, and that includes weekends. And what I did for nearly all my career, which was a rotary shift. The rotary shift is a 3-shift system in which the early shift starts at 6 in the morning, finishes at 2 p.m, the late shift 2 p.m. to 10 p.m, and a night shift which is 10 p.m. to 6 p.m. And you do 7 of those in a row and get off, and it comes to 39 hours a week. You do 7 of those in a row, and then you get days off in between. And over a 4-week period, you do an entire shift round. You do an entire roster rotation, and this worked fine. It was firstly, it meant you earned more money because you got an unsocial hours enhancement, you got weekend enhancements, you got your night shift allowance, so you earned more money. But also, it made it more fun. It made it more exciting and enjoyable, and it made me feel, and a lot of others, more like a proper healthcare professional. And it worked. It worked absolutely fine. And it functioned beautifully. And because it functioned so wonderfully and it worked so well, it had to go. So the Churchill, in their joy and glory, said they're going to do away with the rotary shift system and replace it with fixed rosters for everybody, which means there would be like 8 to 4 shifts. There'd be one that's like 11 to 7 and midnight to 8, which they already had in some other hospitals. They're kind of dumping grounds for people who are useless at everything else, and also punishment duty. So they were going to have lots more start 11 to 7 shifts and 12 to 8 shifts. They're going to do away with the rotary system, as I said, do away with the early shift, have a night shift like from, and have a permanent night shift like Monday to Friday and things like that. Part-time weekend shift, which of course would probably be, they'd probably bring in their own employees to do that, the company, so they wouldn't have to pay the enhanced rates of pay that the NHS demands. And we looked, and the porters looked at it, and they were horrified, understandably, as I would be. And so they tried to explain to Carillion this was not on, because there were actually, they tried to negotiate. Carillion said no, so they balloted a strike. I covered this on the HPWA blog. Okay, links in the description box to that. They balloted to strike, and if I had been a porter and had been eligible to vote, I would have without hesitation, would have chosen to strike. And it's not something we take lightly. I mean, it's not something we want to do. I mean, we understand the implications when the railways go on strike. Well, the buses get a bit overcrowded. When healthcare services go on strike, people can die. So it's not something we took on lightly. But they pushed us into a position where, you know, it was a dilemma, and it was to the point where I think it would have been immoral not to strike, to have not taken action against what would have eventually have decimated the service, and far, far worse. I mean, it's degraded, and already a service that's already teetering on the point of collapse, they've degraded it even further and pushed it even further over the cliff. If you don't strike, if you don't take action, and you don't actually take steps to fight back, that is immoral, in my view. As I said, it was a difficult decision, but really not that difficult. I mean, it's a very clear situation to me. So it was put to the ballot, and it was 100% in favour, 0% against. Every single one of those porters voted to strike. And so what followed then was really a very, very difficult situation, which led to a split when the porters, some of them wanted to go over to a different union because Unison was so useless, and Unison are useless in that respect. I mean, they do sort of like things. If you want to go to a black members conference or a lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender awareness weekend, they're perfect for you. But when it comes to good old-fashioned punch-up, they shrink like violets. So what happened was they brought in a conciliation. They went to arbitration, and there was a whole list of endless tedious meetings between between the shop stewards and various people Unison brought in from outside, and and the Carillion management. And the strike dates kept getting announced, and they kept getting put off. And that led to enormous frustration. I mean, these guys were risking everything. It's not. See, people don't understand what it's like for people to go on strike. So nowadays, maybe in the early years ago, it was too easy to go on strike, and everyone did it because it was fun. And now, it's really, really difficult. It's enormously dangerous for you professionally. Those guys were risking everything, and they needed I think once they made that decision, they made the decision to vote and to go for it. They needed the catharsis of immediate action. They should have just booked a strike date and done it. They should start off just one-day strikes, just done it. And they didn't. And so, I think, from what I gather from talking to people, an enormous sense of frustration builds up, an enormous sense of being on the brink and inaction, and the adrenaline that's caused by that, and then nothing happens. Massively anticlimactic. And of course, people in that situation get frightened. They get disheartened. They get demoralised. They get into a point where they start to take risks, and they may end up accepting damaging compromises. and that's what I'll come to in a minute. But I've now reached, as you can see there, I've now reached the Nuffield Orthopaedic Centre, and I'm going to drop off the next of my St Theo's Day flyers. So I'm going to go in there now, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, I've just dropped off the St Theo's Day flyers, the Nuffield Orthopaedic Centre. I'm just filming now. I'm actually still in the hospital site, but I'm in the industrial block, so I don't suppose it matters. No one's going to object. I was talking about the strike. What happened in the end was what I predicted, when there were about 6 different strike dates announced, which were then postponed, and they went back for another tedious meeting, this ongoing cycle of pointless negotiation, and in the end Churchill offered them a deal. The original plan was completely abolish the rotary shifts and replace it with fixed rosters. The plan is this time what they got now is that the rotary shifts would be reduced. They would be reduced from 42 porters to 22. 42 was what it was when I was there, so that's normal. They've reduced it to 22. So there's only 22 rotary shift porters. All the other porters will be put onto the fixed roster shifts. This was put to the vote among the shop steward corps, which was like about 20 guys who were like just simply brought in to do this negotiation, and they agreed to it. I think they were just tired. I think they were tired, they were frustrated, they were afraid. And the fact of the matter is, it was a dirty trick all along, I think, because when Churchill proposed abolishing the rotary shift, they probably knew they couldn't get away with it. So what they did was, they thought, well, let's just push them and just see how far we can get. We can't get everything we want, but let's just see how much of what we want we can get. How much can we eventually coax these porters into accepting if we wait long enough, if we tantalise them and tease them for long enough and scare them enough. And so Churchill are quite happy with how things have turned out, because they've got most of what they wanted, and they'll have another go. These things are done gradually over a short period of time, over a long period of time. It's the frog in the saucepan situation. So there's now going to be a couple of years. This will go on for a couple of years, and the new shift system will go on, and then they're going to offer some more quote streamlining unquote measures, or ergonomic efficiency measures. They've got a whole list of various Orwellianisms, these people, for what they do, for the dirty tricks they play. And this is how it works. Which is why I understand why the porters felt betrayed by Unison, why some of them even want to leave the union altogether. And as I said, Unison they've become very much a cultural Marxist infiltration organisation, but almost like common purpose. They're not interested in backing the welfare of their members, of their working members. What they want to do is make you feel evil if you're a white straight male. That's what they want to do. Make you feel, this is. I've talked about this before, cultural Marxism. That's what they're into now. I'm now at the Churchill Hospital, and I'm going to deliver. I've got 3 of these flyers to deliver now. Originally, I thought I was going to have 2, one for the ambulance station, one for the porter's lodge, but I've got an extra one, so I'll maybe I can drop those off with the theatre porters, or operating department orderlies, as they're called nowadays. And I'll tell you more about that afterwards. But oh no, I don't have time for that. But I could tell you a funny thing about the knock. The knock is over there. Now that also has like a big main entrance, which is a big glass cavern, an enclosed open space with huge floor-to-ceiling windows. Now the John Radcliffe has that, not just that, well, there's a small version at the entrance I went in, but the West Wing entrance, there's a huge one. And there's a big story attached to that, which is very, very porteringly relevant. So I'm now going to go into the Churchill Hospital, drop off those flyers, and I'll see you when I come out. Now this lovely little location is actually the grounds of the Churchill Hospital. That's the Churchill Hospital I've just been into. I dropped off the last 3 of those St Theo's Day flyers. Dropped off one at the ambulance station. There's a lot of cultural connection between paramedics and portering. Dropped off one at the main reception, which will hopefully find its way to the porters. And I went up to the theatres. I went to the surgical diagnostics unit to try and find the theatres, and I thought, well, I don't know what I'm going to do now. There's no, you know, you can't actually, as a member of the public, I can't just walk into theatres. But then, as luck would have it, one of my extremely proud and dignified brother theatre porters came along, and I recognised him and said hello, and I handed him over the flyer, which he's going to spread to the other theatre porters. So, mission accomplished for another year. So I'm now going to go back to work, and so I've got thirsty. I don't have time for a drink of water or something. I'll see if I can get one from my client. But I'm heading back to work now, so I've got to go all the way back to Ifling. I don't know. I'll be slightly late probably, but it's not the end of the world. I'll manage okay. But on the subject of the atrium, now the atrium is what they call these things, these big glass chambers they have at the entrances to, I think, most hospitals now. They are sometimes very big. I mean, in the case of the West Wing at the John Radcliffe, it's about 120 feet high. It's a huge. Basically, it's bringing the indoors outdoors, as they used to say about the Crystal Palace. Or sorry, other way around. The outdoors indoors. Or was it the other way around? Either way. Now, if you go to the West Wing at the John Radcliffe or look up pictures of it online, you'll see something very interesting. You will see that they're basically, what happened, the way it's structured is there's like lift shafts up the sides, up on these external lift shafts within the atrium, and these lift shafts open out onto terraces from lower ground 2, as it's called, because the hospital's built on the side of a hill. So up to ground, up to level 0, level 1. There's lower ground 2, level ground 1, and then 0, 1, and 2. So that's 6 floors altogether. So 5 floors, and it's all basically, these terraces are within the atrium. So basically, you're on a terrace, and you can look down and see the atrium. It's like being out on a high. It's like being on a balcony above on a high building. And so, right, here we are. Just going to climb up this little pathway running through the woods. Just going to climb up this little, go over this little ridge. This is like a real Slaxer thing, isn't it? Yeah. Hello. I'm not in a good mood today. Yeah, really bad mood. Really bad mood. Yeah. No. sorry, Dave. So basically, what happens is it's like being on a balcony on a high building, and so the fear comes. Well, might I fall off? Is there a risk I might fall off? No. Now, this is something that we porters got involved in as soon as we saw the plans for this thing, because we said those balconies, those terraces, they're no good. Don't have them. Don't have them because it's going to kill people. Are going to fall. It's not. You need to enclose them. They need to be enclosed by a wall or a sealed window, close to ceiling plate glass window. And well, the architects came back to us and they said, "Don't tell us what to do, porter. You're only a hospital porter. I've got a degree in ergonomic architecture and practical design and interesting solutions from the university, whatever, right?" And we said, "Look, people are going to fall off." They said they won't fall off. We've got a 5-foot parapet and on both sides, completely safe. No one is going to fall off there by accident. And I said, yes, that's the key phrase, isn't it? By accident. Because the truth of the matter is, anyone who falls off there is not going to be falling off by accident. You're going to get jumpers. Now, how do I know this? Basically, 23 years with my head up my arse, pulling people off windowsills. Patients in hospitals, are given the opportunity, are very likely to commit suicide. And this is why you have to make it very, very difficult for them by things like, this is why the windows on the higher floors, that big building, the big John Radcliffe you saw, very big tall building, 7 stories high, those windows don't open, or they only open a crack, for that reason. And sure enough, the patient went up to level 2, threw themselves off the parapet, fell 120 feet to to the stone floor on lower ground 2 and died. Killed instantly in the fall. And we bloody told them. We told them that would happen. And they didn't listen to us. And now they pay, well, the patient has paid the price. And this happened actually years ago, before I was in Portering. A couple of years before I joined Portering, they opened up the new cardiac centre. And we said, you can't get those lifts are no good. There's not a turning circle. There's not a big enough turning circle to get the beds into those lifts. And I said, don't tell me what to do. Well, you're a hospital porter. You don't know. So they built the building, and sure enough, they buggered up because the beds wouldn't fit into the lifts. And so they couldn't. They're not insured against that sort of thing. You can't buy insurance against your own stupidity. So they had to basically knock down huge areas of the new structure and start again, because they basically had to knock down like loads of it and rebuild it, redesign it, rebuild it at the cost of millions that they could have saved if during the planning stage they'd listened to us. So the moral of that story is, always listen to hospital porters, because 99 times out of 100 we're right. Right, on to another subject. I'm in the mood to talk about this subject. Dignity statements. Now, please do go watch my videos about dignity statements, because I think it's one of the most important videos I've done. What is a dignity statement? Well, a dignity statement is something you can say and do. It's a way of dealing with one of the biggest problems in your life, especially. This is not just something for hospital porters, it's for anyone. Especially if you work in a large institution, it's probably most common. But it's dealing with unpleasant other people. Not necessarily your boss, it could be another colleague or something like that. What do you do when you deal with, how do you deal with them? Now, of course, I'm not talking about people who are openly improper. In other words, some idiot comes and punches you in the face. That's how, you know, they get sacked for that. I'm talking about all the little, it's just the little snipes and little jabs and little jibes and little facial expressions and things like that that make it clear that person is being contemptuous of you, who in a very, very subtle kind of way is demonstrating their hostility or contempt for you. It just comes out in little things they say and do. Now this is what's known as passive aggression. Passive aggression, and I never even heard of that word until I watched Slaxer's videos about it. Now, Dave Slaxer, I mentioned earlier, he's the first guy. He didn't coin the phrase, but he introduced me to this phrase, passive aggression. And the moment I heard it, I thought, I know what that is. I know precisely what that is. I know exactly what he's talking about. And I realised that the dignity statements are my own. I mean, other people have invented these things independently, but they're a way of dealing with that, of coping with it, and neutralising it. And this is the sad thing, because if you look at my videos on dignity statements, you'll find that Slaxer has posted a large number of comments, most of which are extremely scathing. Of all my viewers, probably he dislikes these videos more than anything else, which, based on his own work on passive aggression, I find very sad and very baffling. So Dave, I don't know why you object to those videos so much. I really don't. I thought you'd love them. I thought they'd be just right up your alley. Ooh, matron. You know what I mean? I thought they'd be just up your street. So well, basically, a dignity statement is just about. It's hard to describe. Let me give you a practical demonstration. All right. And this is based on an actual experience of mine. You go onto a ward to do a job, something like that, and this particular nurse, this particular stuck-up nurse or ward clerk, or somebody else, or radiotherapist, or somebody you don't like, and someone who's one of these people who does these kinds of does this kind of veiled hostility, veiled contempt towards you, is there. All right, and they say something, they do one of these things, like, I say, they tell you which room the patient's in, and you go over there, and they do this little, they mess with your head like this. The patient's in room 21. You go up there and say, "Excuse me, where are you going?" And I say, "To get the patient." He says, "You can't just go up there and collect that patient without me, you know, right?" Now, there's many ways you could actually respond to that. You could do what is very, very tempting and just say, "Oh, fuck off, you stuck-up bitch," all right? In which case, she'll be on the phone to the head porter saying, "That porter swore at me, I'm a victim and he's horrible." And you would be, quite rightly, reprimanded for that unprofessional behaviour. But if you do a dignity statement, this is what I mean, and this is when the person says something like that, you say, "You can't just go up there and pick up that patient without me, you know." Then you say, "Yes, but I can be a proud, dignified member of the hospital portering service and have a pride and dignity which no one can take away from me, you know." And look at her like that, give her a little smile that says, you know, "I know what your game is, I know what you're trying to do to me, and it ain't working." Now, if you do that, right, and you do it correctly, I can absolutely guarantee that it will completely disarm your antagonist. I promise you, I guarantee it. But you must do it right. It comes with practice. And like I said, I would only use them on people who really deserve it, because when I use dignity statements on people, there's one nurse, right, this is in the coronary care unit. I just dropped off a patient, and she was like, "Now, please," she was things like, "Over there, now, please, don't turn the trolley around here. There's plenty of room over here," things like that, right? And so I on the way out, I said, "Night, night." And she said, "Good night," and a little smile. This was a evening shift. And I said, "Hope you have a good evening. We're going to have a good evening because we're hospital porters and we have dignity which no one can take away from us." And I walked out the ward, right? And she came after me. There was like I'd be pulling the pin. She smiled, and then I walked out the ward. That was pulling the pin, right? I was halfway down the corridor, and she stormed, coming out. Excuse me, could you come back a moment, Mr. Porter? Excuse me, come back." And I said, "Yeah. What do you mean by what you said just now?" "I just wished you a pleasant evening." "No, you said something else as well." I said, "I just wished you a pleasant evening." "You said something else." I said, "What did I say?" "Oh, you said something that sounded damn rude. It sounded damn insulting." And I said, "Damned unprofessional." And I said, "What did I say?" And she says, "Look," and then you say, "Look, get me a dictionary. Let's look up the words I said. Hope you have a pleasant evening. I'm a hospital porter. I have a lot of pride and dignity, which no one can take away from me, so therefore I'm going to have a pleasant evening. Let's look those words up and see if there's any context in the dictionary by which they can be called rude and insulting." And she was like, "Yeah," you know, totally lost for words, utterly deflated, and she deserved it. And after a while, you know, when you get good at this, people will leave you alone. And what exactly is she going to do? "Excuse me," she phoned up the head porter. "Yes, one of your porters is being rude to me." "Right, what's he saying?" "He keeps saying he's got pride and dignity." "Right, and what's he saying that's rude?" "Well, that's it. That's rude." See what I mean? There's nothing they can do about it. Nothing. So that is why learning to make dignity statements like that is very, very important. And I'm glad I did those videos. I don't apologise for any people who don't like them, for whatever reason, which I can't understand. There's also passive dignity statements. Now, this is another one you can use, right? The passive dignity statement. What's the one? I'm just going to check the time. I better get a move on. Right, the passive dignity statement is where you are. You're not talking. Right, you're talking. This is an example of passive dignity statement. You're standing with another porter with a bed at a lift bay, waiting for a lift. Miss stuck-up nurse walks by. Right, you're not speaking to her. You're speaking to your brother porter. And you say, "Yeah," and you slip. You can just so you then seg the conversation into something which says, "Yes, but and also we are hospital porters, which means we have pride and dignity, and no one can take that away from us." And if the other porter is actually with you on this, they'll say, "Yeah, that's right," and they'll say something else along those lines. And Miss Stuck-Up Nurse is standing there waiting for the lift with you, and you're sort of like talking. It's very, very important. You don't look at her. Don't look at her. Don't acknowledge her presence. Keep addressing the other porter. Okay? If you look at her, it spoils the effect. You must pretend she's not there. And again, that's something you can do if she's just been particularly nasty to you just now. You know, that's something you can do as a way of striking back, of evening the score, of asserting yourself against her, against that kind of thing. So that's a kind of, I suppose you call it a passive dignity statement. That's just the term I just came up with. And the third type is the physical dignity statement. Now this is a lot more fun. It's much more difficult to demonstrate this actually when I'm just talking to you. It's something I have to show you really. But I do have a video online, link in the description box, where I do show you how to do a passive dignity statement. Basically, you're walking along the corridor on your own usually. This is usually on your own. Miss stuck-up bitch of a nurse is walking towards you. It's a long straight street, okay? Now you know she's just going to walk past you. She's not going to say hello or anything like that. She's going to walk past you with her nose in the air like she always does. And what you do is you start strutting. Stick your chest out and then raise your fist in the air like that as you're walking past her. Don't look at her. Do not look at her. Do not acknowledge her presence. Pretend she's not there. And she'll probably do this. She'll probably go like that. She'll probably just stop and look and wonder what the hell you're doing. But she knows what you're doing. That's an act. She knows what you're doing. She knows. She understands. This is something that people often say. I mean, one of the critics, well, it was Slaxer, I believe, or maybe somebody else, said, you know, look, this is not going to work. People just don't understand what you're talking about, Ben. That's why. No. They understand. Everybody understands what it feels like. Everyone understands humiliation. Everyone understands what it feels like to experience humiliation, and they understand what it feels like to do something to resist that. And they understand everybody, this is something universal to the human experience. And if you're one of these people who enjoys inflicting humiliation on others, and this is where I cannot actually speak from experience, because I'm one of these these people who suffer from an empathic disorder. I've never wanted to humiliate other people. I've never wanted to put anyone else down. I don't know what it feels like to want to do that. I don't understand why some people want to do that. So I cannot. I don't know why they do it. But the fact of the matter is, if everyone, I think the people who do understand when it doesn't work, when they try to do it to you and it doesn't work. All right. So this is why when people say, oh, they don't know, when you do these dignity statements, they just look at you like you're silly because they don't even understand what you're talking about. They think you've gone crazy. No, they understand. They understand. I can see it in their eyes afterwards, later on, when I see them afterwards. They know exactly what it is. And I don't overdo it. The thing about dignity statements is you must use them sparingly. Use them occasionally. Don't use them every time. Every time you see Miss Stuck-Up Bitch of a Nurse, all right? Just use them at the right occasion. You must be ready. Have one ready just in case at all times. Make it a part of your essential toolkit on your belt, along with your scissors and your gas cylinder spanner, you know, and your bottle of gel to disinfect your hands. Keep it there. It's your essential part of your toolkit. The dignity statement ready on the tip of your tongue, just for when it's needed. So that's one of the things that I think portering taught me, and it's something that I have used occasionally in my post-portering life. Not as often. I haven't needed to use dignity statements half as often, I'll tell you. But I have still needed them occasionally. And whether you're a hospital porter or not, I think you will perhaps understand what I'm talking about here. And in fact, you will. You cannot fail to understand what I'm talking about here, because it is something unique to the human experience. And as I said, it is the solution to passive aggression, I believe. And again, therefore, it's dismay. It makes me dismayed, and it makes me confused over why Slaxer doesn't like those videos. I really don't understand it at all. And here we have all the hospitals here. I've got 12 different hospitals, all getting the national flyer. There we are. There we are. Now I'm just going to put these in the post box. It's a nice gold painted post box that's been here for a while. There they go. Hospital Porters, pride and dignity. Right, well, ladies and gentlemen, HPANWO TV viewers, guess what? The Porter's Poet has sent me another present. Now, do you remember my Easter video? I made a video called about Easter. Now, if you haven't, I mean, go and look at it. I'm not going to bother putting a link in the description box. There's too many links already. But please do go and look at that, because in this video, Sophie the Porter's Poet actually gives me a present. And she and her partner Chris have been really, really nice in this way. They've been supporting HPANWO and HPANWO TV and HPANWO Radio enormously. And one of the things they've done is they've given me some wonderful presents, and I really, really can't thank them enough for this. And I've got another one. I went and picked it up, and they left it at the Tree Hotel in Italy. I've gone and picked it up, and it was just, and I'll show you what it is. Ta-da! It's a hamper. Oh my god! It's a hamper, and it has an envelope on the top. Now, first of all, let's have a look at the label here. It says, I don't know how much of this you can see, but it actually says, it's got a label on here saying, "Dear Ben, happy St Theo's Day, pride and dignity from the Porter's Poet." Oh, isn't that lovely? Look, I've got here, Ben Emlyn Jones, voucher for the Tree Hotel. Oh, this is like, oh, voucher, my goodness, what's this? This is really amazing. Look at this. It's lovely, in a lovely envelope it is. Ben Emlyn Jones, this voucher entitles you to spend £30 at the Tree Hotel. And this is basically allows me to go and have dinner at the Tree Hotel, and maybe I can take her staying with me, and we could book a table and have a dinner, because they do a lovely meal at the Tree. They really do a lovely meal. So that's absolutely wonderful. I'll take her stay now for a special St Theo's Day party. Now, what's in here? What's in here? Ooh. Got a lovely ribbon around it. Oh, this is fantastic. Ooh. And it's got like a little label. I'll show you the label. I'll take the label off. Tied on with this very oldie worldy string. This is fantastic. Oh my god. I can use this hamper for all kinds of things afterwards. My St Theo's Day hamper. There you go. Dear Ben, happy St Theo's Day, pride and dignity from the Porter's Poet. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that absolutely lovely? Isn't that perfect? And it's done up with these little buckles. So you can take these buckles off. It's like the ones you have on shoes. Oh. What have we here? The St Theo's hamper. Oh my god, more of this lovely string here. Just checking how much film I've got left. All that lovely string. Oh wow. The St Theo's Day hamper. Along with your voucher to have a few St Theo's Day drinks and a meal on us at the Tree Hotel, encloses everything you should need to celebrate St Theo's Day. This includes your HPANWO St Theo's Day poem, your St Theo costume, plus extra masks for any portering revellers. Treats to consume. Enjoy. Oh, oh, lovely. Oh my god, there's some more of these little stars, which were in the last one, in the Easter one. Oh. Oh my god, it's like a galley proof. Oh, oh my goodness. It's just one page. Oh my god. I've got to put this up on the wall. I think it's too big for the wall. Here we go. It's like a scroll. It's like a scroll from the Library of Alexandria. One of the ones that didn't get burnt. Portering, past and present. Ben puts the flyers up all over town, so everyone knows what's going down. Civilians welcome, cap and gown. On St Theo's Day, there's never a frown. He's the patron saint of hospital porters. I hear a stirring in the porters' quarters.
preparing to celebrate the 1st of June. Their feast day is coming very soon. Helping others was his game. In northern Italy he was born, a 12th century saint for those forlorn. He left his wealthy family for a life of hard work and humility. He went and married a cobbler's daughter, and after that became a porter. He was made the patron saint of porters, so you must acquaint yourself with Theo and his history. Don't just let him be a mystery. Porter is also a style of beer, so raise a glass at this time of year. Named because it's strong flavour and high ABV. Was preferred by hard-working porters, you see. That's true, guys. I'm a light drinker for a porter. A professional identity to celebrate. On this, the most important date of the portering calendar, you must agree. Don't punish Ben for daring to have dignity. Excuse the pun, but please form an orderly queue. I can't excuse that pun. Your question ain't novel, if only you knew. I know you're waiting to pop the question. More likely you'll give Ben indigestion. When you feed him the lines that get madder and madder, like, do you want to get higher up the conformist ladder? You're not here to blow Ben's trumpet. That's my job. So like it or lump it. Then they'd say, what about an operating department practitioner? What right did they have to be his inquisitor? Ben wasn't interested in being an ODP. Why were they giving him the 3rd degree? If that's what he wanted, that's what he'd have done. Ben's no need to answer to anyone. His pride and dignity is here to stay, and the knowledge that no one can take it away. Don't tell them we're porters, said a colleague of Ben's, because this is where it always ends. Can you see that? Sorry. Yes, you can. Have your pride and dignity at the ready, then before you know it, it's you're going steady. Get your dignity statement written. Don't wait until the moment you're bitten, otherwise you'll be going to A&E. But your favourite porter you will not see. An essential part of a life-saving team. Although he's an ex, it's still in his bloodstream. A disorderly orderly, never, no way. He had to leave, why couldn't he stay? A hospital porter now he ain't, but his character will never taint. And actually, the events upon reflection have meant Ben has moved on in his own direction. Uninterrupted in his HPANWO campaign. So now others' loss is our gain. And with that, I shall have no complaint. Because it's given us Ben, our present day saint, the Porter's Poet, June 2016. It's wonderful. It's absolutely, I'm going to read that out on HPANWO radio as well. And I'm also going to put it on the wall. I'll put it up on the wall somewhere. Oh, what? Oh my goodness, what's this? Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh wow! Oh, we've had it. Oh, look! Cakes, cupcakes, cupcakes here. Keep calm. I'm a hospital porter. Oh wow! I've got. Oh, thank goodness. I'll take these with me to the Brit on. I'll definitely take those with me to the Brit on the 7th. Definitely. Hope to see you guys there. Oh, and what's this? Pimm's. Oh, nice Pimm's. Delicious, perfectly mixed Pimm's lemonade. It's a very, very lovely cocktail. That is. Very, very nice. Sort of very posh cocktail, isn't it? Pimm's. Man, dogs and Englishmen go out in the midday sun, and we drink Pimm's, you know. Oh, lovely. And there's 2 cans of Pimm's. Oh my goodness me. They know I'm a porter. See, I'm still a porter at heart, and doesn't matter what I drink. Now what's this? Oh, chocolate. Keep calm and carry on chocolate. Oh, nice. Wow, this is fantastic. For emergencies only, because mild hunger counts as an emergency. Oh, look, milk chocolate bar. Oh, lovely. Lovely. Oh, that's going to go down really well. Ah, nice. Nice one. Nice. Oh, wow. These stars. Oh, what have we got here, guys? Let's put these, I'm trying to forget many of these stars. Oh, my goodness. Well, firstly, I've got some Tana Castell. Welsh case. Definitely like those. Oh yes indeed, I've got to have some of them, haven't I? Yes. That means the fire of the castle. Tana Castell. Nice one. And now we come to this, which is St Theo's Day Mask and Cape. The Porter's Poet and Third Eye present. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. What's this? Oh, I'm going to have to try that on. I'll tell you what, I'll try that on in a minute. I'll have to put the camera on again in a minute. There's more. Oh look, we got this is for the party. Oh. This is for the St Theo's Day party. Oh, you gotta come and get you. Oh, there's a whole load of them. These St Theo's. Is this what he looks like? I didn't know what St Theo looked like. Well, that's fantastic. Oh, this is. Right, definitely. Right, that's it. Is that all of it? Oh, that is absolutely wonderful. Well, thank you very much. Now, but I've got to try on the costume. So, hold there. Wait there a moment while I do that. Right, well, I've got the St Theo's Day mask here and the cape, and I'm just going to put them on. Now, this cape goes on like this. Just put it on around you, like that. Tie it up. It doesn't have any arms. It's just like a thing you tie up round there. Makes me look a bit like I'm in the Ku Klux Klan, doesn't it? Oh dear. I've got to burn me cross of fire. Okay. And here's the St Theo's Day mask. So actually, that's it. And there, that's what he looks like. St Theobald of Rogerio. Right, that's good. So that's what, is this what St Theo looks like? He's kind of like, he's just kind of like a, hang on, I can't see now. Oh, that's it. Goes, his droops in front of the eye holes. Is this what he looks like? I don't know, maybe he does. And he sounds like this. I am St Theobald of Rogerio. Oh. But hang on, he's an Italian, isn't he? So he just sounded like this. I'm a St Theobald of Rogerio. That's alright, you understand? I am. You've got to have a hospital porter's pride and dignity, you understand? I want to say thank you to Ben for inviting me onto this movie, onto this HPANWO TV film. I am St Theobald of Rogerio, the patron saint of the hospital porters. And so I want to say thank you that he has organised this, and say thank you to the Porter's Poet and all the other people and all you hospital porters out there who support St Theo's Day. Now, you porters, you've got to have a pride and dignity all the time, no matter what, capisce? It does not matter if the stuck-up bitchy nurse is walking towards you with her nose in the air. It does not matter if the manager is talking down to you or the doctor is sticking his nose in the air. You understand? You've got to have a pride and dignity. You are an essential member of a life-saving team and doing one of the most important jobs in the entire world. So that means you always remember that. Don't let anyone take that away from you. You use the dignity statements, you understand? The physical dignity statements, and you have the verbal dignity statements always ready at all the time to use against people, you understand? Every single time. And you always do that. And remember, you are lucky, you modern porters. You are lucky in the 21st century porters. You have nice modern wheelchairs and beds. And nice smooth corridors with smooth floors, linoleum floors, which everything glides along smoothly. Now me, I had to carry people. I had no wheelchairs or no beds. I had no lifts to go up and down. I had to dirty, dusty tracks. Oh, mamma mia! The other day, I had this big fat bastard in Santa Antonio village, and I had to carry him in the Torpedo Monte City, all the way, 20 miles, hot sun. Nobody helping me. It's the 12th century. I cannot afford for ambulance. I cannot get on the internet and write blog articles about how pissed off I am. I have to carry the bigger, fatter bastard who had a bad foot. You are so lucky, you hospital porters, in the modern world.
You are so lucky, 21st century hospital porters. You got nothing to complain about. Or maybe you do, but nothing like what I did. So, June the 1st is my day. It's my special day, you understand? And you celebrate it. You have a fun. This traditional porter's way. You drink at the Pims. You eat the chocolate. You eat the cupcakes. You wear my mask like this. And you go down the pub and have a beer. That's the traditional portering thing. Every single year, June the 1st, the feast day of St Theo born Oltragerio. Every single June the 1st, you must celebrate it. Keep your pride and dignity. Always, never, ever let it go, capisce? You sit there and you stand tall and you say, Mamma mia, I am a porter, I am a hospital porter. And you never let that go, ever. You understand? Never, never. You do this for me, you understand? You take it from me, St Theo. Always, 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 never forget that.
Thanks, Theo. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I think this is the first time ever I've completely shared my entire St Theo's Day procedure on HPANWO TV. This is something I've done every year. I've done it every year since around about, I think I started in about 2008 doing this. And I'm still doing it today. And being kicked out of the hospital portering service has not stopped me doing it. And it's not going to. I'm going to continue to do this every single year. The first year when there's not a St Theo's Day celebration organised by me will be the year I die. And hopefully somebody else will do it. Come on, porters, come on. So, thank you very much all of you for watching. Thank you especially to Sophie the Porter's Poet, to her partner Chris, to her band Black Goo, who've written a song about me as well, which I played on HPANWO radio. And thanks to everyone else who has supported the hospital portering service in one way or another. Thank you to my secret informant inside the John Radcliffe Hospital, who not only he's not only actually kept me abreast of things going on in there, but he's also helped me distribute these St Theo's Day flyers. So he's got my deepest appreciation. I can't name him for the sake of his own job safety, but one day what he has done time will come when he can speak publicly too. And of course, thanks to all of you for watching. Thank you very much indeed. Whether you're a hospital porter or whether you're a civilian, I wish you a very, very happy St Theo's Day 2016. And it remains for me simply to end this film with a song. Porter's dignity and porter's pride, porter's dignity and porter's pride, porter's dignity and porter's pride, and no one can take that away from us. Porter's dignity and porter's pride, porter's dignity and porter's pride, porter's dignity and porter's pride, that's hospital porter's dignity. Thanks for watching HPANWO TV. Hospital porters, pride and dignity. Stop the New World Order. Now, as you can see in the flyer, the motto I put on the flyer is, I consider the motto of the whole St Theo movement. Nobody can make you feel inferior without your consent, which was said by Eleanor Roosevelt, and that is the essence of what I'm talking about. The absolute essence. See, people often say to me, Ben, didn't it bother you when these nurses looked down their nose at you, or these stuck-up doctors and managers looked down their nose at you? No, to be honest, it really didn't. Well, I didn't like it, but there's worse things. It didn't bother me so much when a nurse or a doctor or a manager looked down their nose at porters. What really bugged me, what really made me fume, was when I saw porters looking down their nose at porters. What we think of ourselves is what counts, because once we escape that prison and we uphold our pride and dignity as hospital porters, then it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks of us. And what's more, they know it. They will see that immediately. They will detect it, and they will despair. And I must say, I get some satisfaction.